Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on Happy RC Flyer here on YouTube. Today is Tools and Tips Tuesday, and today we have another nifty little tool for you. This is a little butane pocket torch, and I tell you, this thing has come in really handy. This is by a company called Honest. I'll put a link for it in the video description if you'd like to purchase one. I bought this with my own hard-earned money. This wasn't given to me. This wasn't discounted in any way so that I could purchase one and tell you to buy one. So this is a unsponsored, unbiased review video of this little pocket torch. I've just found it really nifty in the RC hobby, and then also I like to do outdoor stuff, and I'm an outdoorsman, so if you're into that kind of stuff, you'll find this really handy to keep with you and for starting campfires and cooking food and stuff like that. It is butane. It's powered by butane, so they don't come filled with butane, so keep that in mind. If you do order one of these, you'll need to purchase some butane at a local store. I don't think they're going to ship any butane to you. I might be wrong on that, but it depends on where your location is. But I found this to be super handy in the RC hobby, so much so that recently I just picked up a couple extra ones to have in some other boxes as well. But I keep one of these in my hobby box, and maybe a future video will do a tour of the hobby box and some different things I have in it you might find interesting. But I found this to be really handy. So we're going to show you how to fill it with butane. We're going to show you some little tips and tricks that you can use this for if you're in a primitive environment and you need to repair some things or do some soldering, whatever. We'll try to demonstrate that a little bit. And if you're not subscribed, I hope you'll consider doing that. Subscribing helps grow the channel, and we're here to help grow the hobby. This is where you'll find that unsponsored, unbiased perspective on things. We're just here to share in the fun of RC and the hobby of RC, and so if you like that kind of content, take a minute to subscribe. Like the video at the end if you like it. If you like the content, drop a comment or a question, suggestion, idea that you have. I always like to interact with the community here on YouTube and the fellow hobbyists in the RC community. So if you have a comment or question, drop that in the comment section and share the video with a friend that you think might enjoy it. So without further ado, I mentioned already that I bought this with my own hard-earned money, and they'll run this on sale every once in a while. This is by a company called Honest. I'll put a link for it in the video description. I purchased this from Amazon. I think you can get a 2-pack for like 12 bucks right now. And so I'll put a link for that. But if it's something that you don't feel like you need right away, and you might just think that it's kind of nifty, maybe put it in your cart and you'll get notified if it goes on sale, if the price drops or something, and then you can grab one up when you feel like they're a little bit cheaper. But I feel like $6 a piece is pretty good. I think they're like maybe $12.99, so maybe it's $13. They vary in price every once in a while, but anything under 20 bucks, I feel like it's really very fair for what it is. It lasts a good long time. So anyway, let's get started on this. So it comes, as I mentioned, it doesn't come with any butane in it. It doesn't come with any filling in it. I don't know if the camera will be able to pick it up. We have some mosquitoes out here, but if the camera will pick it up or not, but you should see a little spark there. And, oh, there was a little bit in there. So it's not, this is not how it came shipped, but it is empty and I was going to refill it. So I thought this might be a good time to shoot a little video on it. So it shouldn't come with any butane. So it's not going to be a chance of lighting up or being explosive while they ship it. They wouldn't like that. So anyway, what you want to do before you fill up any butane torch, you want to take a fine tip something. I'm just using a little fine tip Phillips screwdriver here, and I'm putting it in the end. You want to point it away from your face, and you just want to, I don't know if you heard that or not, but sometimes there's a little bit of pressure. You want to make sure you bleed off that extra pressure, because when you go to fill it with butane, you don't want any pressure in the little canister. So then what we're going to do is we're going to pop the cap on the butane, and this butane canister comes with different size filler nozzles in the cap. You can see some of those are busted out that I used for different things, but this one here just uses the regular filler tip. So I don't know if you'll be able to see that very well on the camera. I might put some pictures in there if you can't see that, but this part is pretty much self-explanatory. You want to turn the can upside down, and you want to put it and fit it down on there real well. And what you're going to do is turn it over to where you can see the window glass, and I'm not going to be able to show that to you on camera. Sorry about the mosquitoes, but you're not going to be able to see it on camera. What I'm going to do is I'm going to depress the bottle, which is going to open up the valve, and it's going to fill up this pocket torch. And so I'm just going to do it for about 5 seconds. So we'll press it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to pull it off of it. Actually, this got stuck on there a little bit. And then you should be able to lean it and see that it has a little air pocket in there. I believe it's full, and technically you don't want to use it right away, so don't do what I do, do what I say. But you can see it does work. What you want to do is let that settle, the butane, you want to let it settle in there. But that's how you fill up a pocket torch. Again, sorry for swatting the mosquitoes, but I think I look less, there's got one right out of the air. But anyway, it's probably not as distracting to swat them out of the air as it would be to have welts all over me. So anyway, there it is. That's how you fill it up. You can see it's got a nice flame. On the bottom here, it has like this little lever where you can adjust the output. So I'm going to crank it up. Let's see, it has a plus and a minus on it. I can't remember which way is which. I'm going to crank it. So that's probably all the way down. I'm going to back it off. So clockwise is shutting the valve off. Counterclockwise opens up the valve, so it'll make your flame longer. And keep that in mind, if you have your flame longer, then it's going to burn up faster. But look at that. That's a really nice long flame. And so this is really nifty if you're going to be using it in an environment. You're outside, it's a little bit windy. I used to use a pocket lighter. I don't smoke, don't really believe in smoking or anything. But I used to carry a little pocket lighter, like a little Bic. It's called Bic, B-I-C. A little Bic pocket lighter, and I used to carry one of those in my pocket. Really nifty. You just never know when you might use one and need one. But I found with that, if you have a little bit of breeze, then you can't use it if you're trying to do a shrink wrap or something on a wire, and the wind will keep blowing it out. This is really nice because this is compressed. Let's adjust it a little bit. It's compressed, and then you can move that around, and it's really going to take a lot of wind to blow that out. And so that's what I really like about this pocket torch. So something else that just came up, I don't know, this was probably like a couple weeks ago, and I was with a friend, a buddy. We were flying out at the airfield, and I think I was maybe flying my air tractor, my E-Flite air tractor, which I've been having a lot of fun with that, and there's some more modification videos. I've been doing some customization to it, so you want to subscribe if you want to see that video in the future. But I was flying mine, and he was flying, I think, the flight test version, the flight test Duster maybe. I'll put a picture or maybe a link for the Duster if you want to see that on the screen as well. But Flight Test is a really cool organization, and they do a lot of really cool stuff for the hobby. We'll probably do some plugs for them later on. Again, not sponsored, but just have some friends that are into that, and I really enjoyed their airplanes. But he was flying one of their planes, and their planes are built out of foam board. And this is the kind of insulation, or the kind of foam that you can get at the dollar store. I used to build them out of foam board, the fan fold foam insulation years ago when we did construction. But anyway, the foam, and I can't remember if he came in crosswinds or what happened. It wasn't anything major, but it just broke a little piece of foam off. And if I remember correctly, I can't remember where it was right off. Maybe I can't remember all the details, but the gist of it was his foam airplane, which most of the RC airplanes are foam. And he's like, "Oh, do you have any glue on you?" And I said, "You know, I think I've got some CA glue." And I looked, and my CA glue had dried out in the hobby box because I was due to get some new ones. I've got some new ones since then, and had some accelerator in there. And I said, "Man, I just don't have any glue." And I said, "Well, I got some glue sticks." But then I was like, "I forgot to put my glue gun in my hobby box because I have a battery-powered hot glue gun." So anyway, long story short, or a long story shorter, was that I pulled these glue sticks out, and I got an idea. I said, "Hey, we'll glue it with hot glue. That's what you built the airplane with, so let's glue it with hot glue." And he said, "Well, how are you going to do that without a hot glue gun?" And I said, "Well, we got the pocket torch, so let me see if I can demonstrate that real fast." I've got a couple sticks here, and I don't know that you'll be able to see it very well on the camera, but I think you'll get the idea. You do have to be very careful with this because once you heat it up, it is going to become liquid the hotter you get it. You just heat it up kind of slow, depending on how much you're going to need, how much you're going to need to use. But you just start warming up the stick, and I'm rotating it with one hand while I pass the torch back and forth on a little area. And then you can heat it up enough to where it'll start dripping, or you can just press it right on and let it warm up right like that. And of course, I'm going a little warm with it because I'm kind of in a hurry here, and so I'm going to rip off part of that. I'm going to stick the other stick on just to show you how hot glue works, because I'm sure everybody already knows how hot glue works. But I thought that was a really cool little tip, a really cool little feature. Maybe, obviously in the RC hobby you don't need to glue sticks together, but you get the idea that if you're out someplace that's primitive, maybe you don't have electric, or maybe you don't have money to spend on a battery operated glue gun. If you have some glue sticks, and these are smaller glue sticks, the smaller ones will heat up easier with the pocket torch or the pen torch, and they're easier to melt if it's a thinner, like pinky size. You know, there's big glue sticks and little ones, so preferably the little ones. But if you have a couple glue sticks with you and you have the pocket torch, you can glue stuff together, and then you can see that it's glued on. I mean, as well as hot glue is going to glue, and hot glue has its limits like every glue does. I thought maybe if we have time here that I would show you another little tip and trick that I use with my pocket torch. And one of the main reasons I got my pocket torch, and it was to be able to do wire connections in a primitive environment. So I have a nice solder station at my house, and a lot of guys do. If you do soldering, you're into the RC hobby, you need a good solder gun, and maybe that's a video for another day. But with the pocket torch, you can solder connections together at the airfield. And so I have an ESC here that I want to change out the connector on it. It has a XT60, and I'd like to put this, what is this, EC3, or this is an EC5, I think, or EC5, yeah, because IC would be orange. So EC5 here, and I want to switch this out. So I'm going to go ahead and clip the existing connector off of there. I'm going to clip it off, and we're going to put that wire aside. These are wire strippers, which are really nice to have, and we're going to strip the wire back a little bit. You don't need to do it a whole lot, but maybe back about 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch, depending on your connectors. I'll probably feature these connectors in another video because these are really nice, and they really deserve a whole video to themselves on how they work, because you don't need a solder gun. All you need is just heat, and they have a solder ring inside. So I've picked up some RC things used in the used market and found some of the connectors just were sort of twisted together, and then put some like electrical tape on it. And you really ought to use solder if you want a good connection. You want to get a good connection for good amperage, good voltage through there. So they make these connectors in different sizes, and they'll probably show up in another video somewhere. I know the contrast of the camera, maybe we can get it adjusted a little bit, but I don't know if you can see those very well. But these little connectors, they're kind of like shrink tubes, but they have a little sleeve of solder in there. And so we're going to slip these on top of the wire. One on the positive, one on the negative, one on the red, one on the black. And then we're going to match these up. And I tell you, this sounds very elementary, but sometimes in your excitement of hooking up connections, it's easy to get them reversed around in reverse polarity. And sometimes you can be so focused on making sure that you get a good connection that you can actually connect the wrong wires. Again, I know that sounds silly, it's very elementary, but take the time to do due diligence and make sure that you have the right polarity, and especially before you plug them in. You don't want fireworks on any other day besides 4th of July. So here we have the connectors on. We're going to warm them up a little bit so the heat shrinks will grab a hold of them, to grab a hold of the wire. And then once the heat shrinks have a hold of the wire, you can see that it starts to melt a little bit and get pliable. This is a little tough to do because it's really hard to show you and demonstrate this at the same time. Whoops, it's trying to slide out. So I didn't have it shrunk onto the wire enough. We're going to warm it up a little bit. You really want those shrink tubes to grab a hold of those wire connections and grab a hold of the silicone. And then after that's warmed up and grab it on, then you heat up that little sleeve of solder. And again, this is not a good example because it would be better if you're doing it flat on the table. But again, hey, it's primitive. We don't have a solder station out here. We don't have electric. And we're just trying to get this thing so we can fly it. So you're going to warm this up, and you're going to warm it up until you see the solder begin to turn really shiny in the wire connection. So a lot of people get these connectors and they don't warm them up enough. And what happens is they end up doing a cold solder joint. And I'm telling you, there's nothing worse than a cold solder joint. You're not going to have a good connection. It's going to pull out. It's not going to attach. And so while these are warmed up, I can see, I don't know if you're able to, I know it's getting dark on us, but there we have that. and there's the wire connection. So we just did that, a soldered wire connection, positive and negative battery lead on an ESC. We did that out here in a primitive setting without the need of a solder gun. And so pick up one of these solder guns, or one of the primitive solder gun. Pick up one of these pencil torches. I think you'll find it really handy. If you don't need one, don't buy it. By all means, don't take this video as pressure to buy something. I don't make any money on the videos. I don't make any money by trying to feature products. And if you purchase anything by a link in a video, it doesn't put any money in my pocket. So there's no advantage. I make just as much money whether you buy one or not, because I don't make any money doing this. This is just as a hobby. I make money working, and I have a job. So don't let this be any pressure for you to buy something that you don't need. Maybe you already have plenty of stuff. Maybe you just like watching the videos, and there's nothing wrong with that either. So anyway, check that out. We'll have a video, or we'll have a link for these in the video description if you'd like to purchase one. This is by a company called Honest. I'm sure there's a variety of these. There's probably a lot of generic brands. If you can find one cheaper somewhere else, drop a comment, drop a link in the comment if you'd like. And then, of course, keep in mind that when you get a pocket torch, a butane pocket torch, you'll need to pick up lighter fluid, or more specifically butane, a can of butane. So keep that in mind. Again, if you haven't subscribed already, consider doing so. That helps the channel grow, and that helps grow the hobby. That's our goal and our agenda, is to help grow the hobby and share in the fun of RC stuff. And most of my viewers are not subscribed, and if you enjoy the content, I would appreciate if you take the time to subscribe. Like the video if you liked it, and if you enjoyed that, drop a comment, drop a question, and let us know what you think. And if you have a suggestion or an idea, love to hear those. So thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Hope you found that helpful. Hope it's something that make your life a little bit easier and give you some ideas on the airfield, or maybe camping or whatever you're doing. So thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video. See you later.